All right, gang, welcome back. We are in chapter 9, right? It's another application chapter, this time on international trade. Okay. Yeah, man. Huh? Where you been, man? Class always starts at 9:25, except for when I'm late. It has started at about 9:30. International trade. International trade. Okay. Anybody know what an import is? Say it again. When other countries send you a good. So let's say this is the United States over on this side of the room, and this is China or something over here. Okay. When something is made there and sold here, it is an import. Okay. What about an export? What's an export? Just the opposite, but let's go through the exercise. Where would it be made? Here and sold there. It's not that complicated. It's where it was made, where it was sold. Now, if it was made in China and sold in China, is it an import or an export? No. If it was made in America and sold in America, is it an import or an export? No. Okay. Anybody ever been to Charleston? No, maybe. No. You all right? You okay? You good? You good? You tired? You got up early and ran? I did. You good? All right. Brutal, right? Brutal. Let's see if I can do anything about that. Nothing else I can do. All right. Okay. So if you've been to the port of Charleston, you see those gigantic ships coming in and out, right? Okay. They come in with containers on it, do they not? Now, it's really possible they could have come from New York and it's a container from the US, but most likely that container is from somewhere else, right? Okay. And when that container is from somewhere else and that big crane says, and puts it on a truck, that's an import. Okay. When that yard has a huge container and that crane goes, puts it back where the other one was, and it's made in America and it's going over to, say, England, that's an export. It's really that simple. Okay. Once took a tour down there in grad school and international business class, and we had the opportunity to go to the port, and we went out there and there was this crushed container. It was just like a 1 inch. It was like if you stepped on like 2/3 of a Coke can and just mushed it. That's what it looked like. It buckled under the weight of the container above it rather. And there was this huge red purplish stain on the concrete. It was a $10 million worth of French wine that had been imported. And that was just one of those containers on these containers that hold hundreds. Can you imagine? They cross the seas on a windy day like today. They got big waves and everything. You know those things can just fall off. I mean, they're locked in, but they'll fall off.
They find them floating in.
Yeah, they'll sink eventually. But I don't know. It kind of makes me feel little, right? When you realize each one of those little blocks, if you're sitting there hanging out by the water and you see one of those ships going by and those little Lego-looking things, those are an entire like 18-wheeler like container. You understand that? Okay. So you've got a lot of coming, a lot of going every day. Any given time, there's like 4 ships at that thing. They'll keep on going. They'll go to New York. They'll go to Miami. They'll go to Charleston. They'll go to Savannah. England, China, you name it. I mean, that's just something that when I think about international trade, you just don't even realize it's happening. Okay? What's one of the principles of economics that applies to international trade? Anybody remember? Oh, why I took these out. This is from next class. Well, there's tariffs. No, one of the 10 principles. Remember the first chapter in macro? 10 principles of economics. What does trade make everyone?
Everyone benefit or something.
Yeah, trade makes everyone
Better off.
better off. Trade makes everyone better off. It truly does. There's a pineapple growing on the side of a volcano in Costa Rica this morning. It'll be Highway 29 Ingalls by Friday. You ever think about that? There's a pineapple on Maui this morning that may very well be in the Ingles by Friday. Let's give them until Saturday. That was a little further. Okay? Did that ever just blow your mind? By the way, you have any idea where your shirt's from today? Later on, look. I guarantee it's not here. It came in on one of those ships. Do you understand? International trade is a big deal. Trade makes everyone better off. But when we're trading, do we trade at the U.S. price or the world price? World. If you're going to be in a world market, you're going to take the world price. So let's say the price of a t-shirt that's how we determine it, right? Right there. But what if that's just the U.S.? Remember, this is just a table, right? So many rows, so many columns, t-shirts, prices, how many people want, how much they'll supply at that different price, but that's just the U.S. market. If we're going to get a world price, something like at any given time, isn't it really sad that this changes? There's something like at any given time, like 217 countries in the world. That's probably not even accurate this morning. I just didn't look it up. Like there's a country last month that doesn't exist anymore. Do you understand? All right, there are countries in flux. Now, a lot of them don't tend to play in international trade, but let's say there's 217 some odd countries. We add all these up. Country in, okay, and we add them all up and we get world market for t-shirts and how much is traded in the entire world. I was like, wait a minute, you can't add up a graph. Yes, you can. That's just a supply schedule, demand schedule. We just made a bigger table and we just graphed it. Okay, everybody's like, well, what does this look like in the real world? Well, in the real world, you can put them all on a table and it's going to look. It's going to have all these data points. And you're going to average it. There's your supply line. And then we're going to do demand. Millions of data points. Take an average, there's your demand. Price for the world, quantity for the world. Now, is this price world going to be the same thing as price US? I mean, statistically it's possible, but what's likely? That they do not equal. So if they do not equal, in all likelihood, there's only two possibilities. The world price can either be higher than the US price or lower than the US price. All right. Either way, we're probably not at equilibrium here. It's either going to be higher or lower. One or the other. Right. Now, with that as context, I'm going to do two things. I'm going to catch my breath because I'm breathing through a mask. I'll allow you to catch up on your notes. And then I'm going to erase that. We're just going to draw a graph with a U.S. market, but with a price from the world market imposed on. Okay? All right. That good? Y'all just don't look excited enough. You get smarter today, and when you get smarter today, you become a better, gooder service. And when you become a better, gooder service, you can charge a higher price. And by price, I mean wage. So you're literally making money today, and y'all look like you're just bored to tears and can't wait to get on TikTok. The only TikTok that matters is the TikTok of the clock and whether you're better next second versus the other. So lock in with me, will you? Okay? God bless you. You're long on youth and so short on wisdom. It's insane. Youth is wasted on the young. You get more jealous by the day. You're actually really at a really exciting point in your life, and you're, relatively speaking, your earnings are about to go through the freaking roof. It'll never have that kind of percentage increase. Never again the rest of your life. I think about all the folks who, well, maybe 3 of them who should be here that aren't. They're not getting better. In fact, I just dropped 2 of them. Y'all do realize if you don't do your assignments, that's an absence. If you have 5 absences, we drop you from the course, right? 2 people waking up this morning realizing they're no longer in my class. They've wasted that opportunity. You should honestly be okay with that because they're your competition in the job market and you just got ahead. You're a better candidate than they are right now. Oh, March 3rd, mark your calendars. We're going to have some things, I think in the afternoon down at Ellis Hall, to tell you a little bit more if you're interested in staying for the full year stuff, including the brand new Bachelor of Arts in Business Administration, which will allow you to specialize in one of 4 areas: accounting and finance, economics and finance. What's the difference there? They both have finance? Yes, they do. Accounting and finance, if you kind of want to go in accounting, be a CFO. Economics and finance, if you ever want to go into banking or work in investments or be a personal investment person, you can do that. Or you can do management and entrepreneurship. That's kind of our general business option if you want to start your own business or work for a company like Michelin and make good money because you solve problems for them. Or marketing and sales, which is the #1 field in America in terms of getting a JOB. In terms of getting a JOB, let this be your life's lessons for today. Be careful what you're putting on social media. The first thing I do is Google you if you're a candidate. I'm trying to hire a professor right now, and I Googled 12 candidates. I eliminated about 8 of them immediately just because of their online presence. Either bad news about them or I just didn't like their takes. Gone. 2/3 gone because of their online footprint. Life has consequences. You guys are less than 3 years away from reaping those consequences. Perhaps Snapchatting your teammate in the shower isn't a great idea, right, baseball team? Anybody on baseball? Remember that? That happened. You know that guy has to register as a sex offender for the rest of his life? Snapchat. Think about that. What are the consequences of your actions? We're in economics. We're talking about choices here. This is a life lesson. I'll mix these in. If that guy moves into my neighborhood and has to ding dong ring my doorbell and tell me he's a sex offender, am I going to think it's because he played a practical joke on his teammate, or just because, you know what, I got 2 little kids? What am I going to think he did? Felt up little kids. Gonna punch him square in the nose and welcome him to the neighborhood and tell him if I ever see him again, he's dead. Life has consequences. And Snapchats disappear, right? No. Wrong. Screen capture, dude. Kid has to register as a sex offender for the rest of his life. Let that be a life lesson. I'm online. I'm also on TikTok. You're getting stupider. And you're making mistakes that will prevent people like me from hiring you. And you want me to hire you because I pay efficiency wages, and that means I pay you more than what you're worth, if you can get through. But I'm telling you, I eliminated 8 grown-ups last week, all because of their online presence. Be careful, folks. Back to the story. We got 2 scenarios. You got the U.S. market and international trade. You asked me for a recommendation. First thing I'm going to do is Google you. If I don't like what I see, you don't get my recommendation. Of course, if you hear words, I'm going to give you a good recommendation. But I'm still going to Google. Why? Because it makes me look like an idiot if I'm recommending people who are, well, idiots. Okay? 2 scenarios here, right? This is supply, but it's U.S. market. This is domestic supply. Because I could teach you all the econ you ever needed. But if you're an idiot online, it doesn't matter. True? You ever think about it that way? Y'all need to get online and delete some stuff real quick. Not just demand, domestic demand. Domestic means here. Trouble with Brian, people are sitting there thinking, well, how dare he lecture me? It's because you're short on wisdom. One day you realize, he's the price saved my life. I was there. I'm telling you what, sweet baby Jesus, I'm kissing your feet. I'm so happy there wasn't social media when I was in college. Holy smokes, am I happy. You guys have it tough. Tough, man. All right, let's put a world price on this thing. Which color do I want to use? There's so many choices. Let's say the price for the world, now again, the world market's over here. Two scenarios, right? The price is either higher or lower than the equilibrium in the U.S. market. So let's put a price to this world over here. Now, if that's our domestic price, that would have been our domestic quantity. Let me ask you something though. Can you be in international trade and allow your domestic price or quantity be the prevailing domestic price or quantity? You're either in or you're out. You understand? If you're in international trade, the domestic price and quantity do not matter. This is all that matters. Okay? Now, that affects you in different ways. Let's start with a world price greater than a domestic price. We're in disequilibrium, right? What the domestic market would have been. Okay? What is this right here? The coin supplied or coin demanded? Coin supplied. Okay. What is this right here? Coin what? Man. So why is more being supplied? Well, first of all, we're in the world market, and the price is higher. Who does that make happier? Buyers or sellers?
Sellers.
Price is high. Who does that make happy? Sellers. Okay. So they move to here, right? But the problem is the domestic consumer says, yeah, I don't want to pay that. I should be paying this. So they decrease their quantity demanded, but do they go to zero? No. What do you have here? Excess supply or excess demand? This creates, when you have quantity supply that exceeds quantity demanded, you've got a what? Surplus of goods. What do you do with that surplus? Does it just sit there and rot? No, you don't. Maybe if you're North Korea. If you're going to be a domestic market in international trade, let's say this is your country and this is the world. If you have extra, what can you do? So this is your domestic market. This is the world market. If you got some left over, send it here. Okay? So how much are we sending there? This amount right here, that's what we're going to consume in the United States. That's how much we got left over. What's this amount right here? My excess surplus, right? All right. This is what I export. All right. Now here, the world price is lower. In the second example here, the world price is lower. Are we at equilibrium? No, because if you're going to be an international trade, you can't take the domestic price and quantity. So I'm going to drop a line here. What's that? Quantity demanded. I'm going to drop a line here. Quantity demand exceeds quantity supplied. What do you got? Who's happy with a lower price? Buyers. So you guys are perfect consumers, man. Y'all jump all over that. All right. Your human nature is to say buyer to everything, demand to everything, low price, yay. Okay, buyers are happy here, right? In fact, they're about that happy. Who's not happy? Sellers. They go that way. Okay, we have a shortage, but do we have a shortage? No, you can just get that product from where? And bring it back to your domestic market. Now, here we are exporting, yes? What are we doing here? You need to import that amount. This is the stuff getting off the boat in Charleston. This is the stuff going on the boat in Charleston. Got me? I'll give you a moment. Halfway home. Let's get to the graphs that matter. You guys remember the economic welfare we talked about? Well, 3 weeks ago now, and then last week. Well, guess what? There's economic welfare there as well. Okay? Everything above price and below the demand curve is my consumer surplus. Everything below price and above the supply curve is my. Okay, so before trade, they were pretty even, were they not? After trade, who's happier? Okay. Before trade, all right, you get people want to like stop right here. You don't have to. Remember, it's always a triangle. Okay. Okay. After trade, all right, who's happier here? Consumers. See that? Everything below demand, above the price. This was producer surplus before trade. Are they still have some welfare, but are they happier with trade? No. All right. So let's think about this. Who's more organized, the buyers or the sellers? Sellers are way more organized. We are just a bunch of people running around trying to get our needs met. You understand that? We don't have a union of consumers, do we? No, but you have a handful of companies who could influence a policy, and they don't like going from this to that. You don't like going from this to that, but can we get organized? Who's Washington going to listen to? They organize. Policy goes to the people who are prepared and organized. We're going to talk about here in a minute about how the organized can take advantage of the disorganized. You are the disorganized, the suppliers are the organized. Let's get on with it. Y'all got that? We got to keep moving. All right. Online, y'all got that? I don't care. You're not paying attention. You're watching TikTok because you didn't listen to my whole little rant before. Anyway, y'all understand that the world market comes from outside the domestic graph. And it's either going to be higher or lower, which is going to create a tendency towards either exporting or importing. We're good? All right, good. Less yelling today. It's not about taxes. Well, I tend to yell when taxes. They complained. I told them I didn't care. They literally complained, including 3 other staff members. I said, do not care. Had fun. Taught taxes. Taxes? I didn't teach that well. I had fun though. Now, all the time you get the book out, some of the stuff memorized. I really want to get it directly out of the book. Why do you think I really want to get it directly out of the book? That's how it's going to look on the homework and the test? Let's get this right, okay? We're going to move pretty quick on these, but that was the basis you needed, the surgical basis you needed to be ready for what's about to happen. You understand? Okay? All right. Domestic supply. You can say supply domestic or whatever. You know, that looks confusing because that kind of looks like I'm trying to label that as a demand curve. So let's just go supply domestic. Demand domestic. price domestic. I don't even care about the quantity at this point. All right. Let's put a world price above. And let's label a few things here because we're talking about welfare economics. Let's make this A, let's make this B, let's make this C, and make that D. All right. Tell me about my consumer surplus. You know what, I'm just going to do it here and erase them each time. You okay with that plan? Okay. Tell me about my consumer surplus, my producer surplus, and my total surplus. Let's do before trade. Let's do after trade. And then let's do what changed, delta. Remember the triangle is delta in Greek, and it is a symbol of what has changed. Yes, sir.
Was this not last week's?
It is, but that was taxes. This is trade. Same stuff. I don't care if you're buying a car, paying taxes, coming to class, consuming my lecture. You have consumer and producer surplus, and it changes. And so you will have this for the rest of your life. You're welcome. Okay? I'm a gift giver today. What's my consumer surplus before trade? So if we're not trading, is the world price there? All right, so what's my consumer surplus before trade? Everything above price, below the demand curve. D doesn't exist because this isn't there yet. Okay, say it again. AB, A plus C. By the way, as we're wrapping up this second chapter, let me remind you, next Wednesday you'll have another exam due because it's on these two chapters, and you'll do a ton of this. Yeah, isn't it nice when it kind of works together like that? Literally, it's like an elementary school exam where it's like, hey, do you see that triangle? Tell me about it. Okay. Producer surplus before trade. C. Total surplus. So C plus CS plus PS equals CS. Yeah. A plus B plus C. All right, after trade, now the orange line is there. Got me? The orange line is there. All right. After trade, world price went up. Who's that make happy? Sellers. Who's that make sad? It's more expensive. Buyers. Okay. So tell me about it. What's my consumer surplus after trade? What's my producer surplus after trade? B, C, D. That's the trick. You forget. Everybody's like, no, we can't go over there because that's the demand. I'm talking about suppliers. What's the only thing that matters with supply? Supply curve, right? Okay. Everything above supply and below the price. Here's the price. That includes B, C, and D. B plus C plus D. Okay. Total surplus, consumer surplus plus producer surplus. I've got A plus B plus C plus D. What changed for consumers? They lost B, right? Got me? Okay, what changed for producers?
Lost B and D.
No, producers.
They added.
Plus B plus D. Got me? Overall, are we better or worse off when measured by economic welfare, which is really honestly the only thing that matters? By what?
D.
Plus D. Did trade make everyone better off? Don't care about that email. I'm doing my thing. Okay. Who is sad? Who is happy? Overall, is this good or bad?
Good.
Okay, everybody's like, okay, buyers are sad. That can't be a good thing for everybody. No, let's think about this. Producers are selling more, are they not? They're not just selling domestically, they're selling to the world. Should that make you happy as a consumer? Yes. Why? I'm paying more, I don't like it, I'm getting less quantity. Why should you be happy as a consumer? Because you're also an employee. And if businesses are more busy, are they hiring or laying off? They're hiring. And who are they hiring? You. And if they're hiring you, you're getting more or less pay. Are you actually going to your medical appointments because you can't afford them? catching illnesses earlier, preventative. Do you have disposable income to use on a gym membership? Do you have disposable income to send your kids to a nice school? All of these things. Are you on some random Tuesday night deciding, hey, let's go rob a liquor store? What happens to the crime rate? Down. So let's see, you got more money, you're gainfully employed, you're healthy, you can get food, whatever you want, your kids are happy and healthy, and no one's robbing a liquor store. What happened to your quality of life? Remember one of the 10 principles that said the more productive a society is, the higher your standard of living? You're willing to make that deal. Even though temporarily you lost out here, it makes you sad, you complain about it in line at the post office, but at the end of the day, society's better off. How are there ships coming and going out of Charleston? Minutes, we're gonna make it, you think? Try. Shoulders were trapped yesterday. I'm feeling that. So if I race like this, so that's about. All right. Mix it up every now and then there, Brian. Mix it up. Okay. This makes sense. You see how even if you're losing in the short run, you're winning in the long run by higher incomes, lower crime rate, better health, better schools, better everything. You're okay with those boxes coming in and out of that fork, trust me. You don't even know where you get your shirt from. Can I erase it? Watch this though. Domestic supply. Domestic demand. Price domestic. I don't really care about the quantity because we're not going to do that. That was figure 2 we did a second ago. Let's go on to figure 3. Let's put a world price down here. And we have some areas to label here. Let me be very careful to label them just like they are on the test, the textbook. I'm not trying to fool you. If you ever think I'm trying to fool you, you just need to take a break, walk around the house or something, and then come back. Literally isn't that complicated, is it not? Tell me about this triangle, bro. That's all I got. That's all I have. Okay? Before trade, pretend like the orange thing isn't there, okay? Kind of like the Democrats right now with the orange man. Okay? He's clearly still in their heads. Okay? Beginning. A, B, C, D. Tell me, what is my before trade consumer surplus? Couldn't hear you. I know. These things, right? Yeah, it's A. Right? Everything above price and below the demand curve. Got me? Okay, the orange line's not there. It's A. Tell me about producer surplus before trade. Everything above supply, below price. BC. A plus B plus C is total surplus because it's consumer surplus plus producer surplus equals total surplus. All right. After trade, now the orange line's up there. Got me? Okay. Tell me about my consumer surplus, everything above price and below the demand curve. And keep in mind, this is a world price. Say it again. ABD, right? Which in PhD world means all but dissertation, which I was really excited about until I found out how much of a mental torture chamber doing a dissertation, a paper written over a year or two for 5 different people. Oh, have mercy. That's why sometimes I feel pretty good when y'all call me Dr. Keesler. It wasn't hard to get. It was pretty hard to get. So A plus B plus D. Everything above price, below the demand curve. Got me? A, B, D. The trick is people get confused and don't want to put that in there. But this is the price, is it not? This is the demand curve, is it not? Tell me about that triangle. Okay? What is my after trade producer surplus, everything above supply and below price? What is my after trade total surplus? A plus B plus C plus D. Now let's talk about what changed. What did consumers get? B and D. So B plus D. What happened to produce? So they're happy, right? Okay. What about producers? What did they do? They lost B, and they're pissed. Let me tell you. We're going to talk about it here in a second. Okay. They are sad. Wham. Okay. Overall, is society better off, and by how much? Did trade make everyone better off? But are the producers going to be as happy about it as you? Because initially you took a hit when you were paying that higher world price. But you're smart enough to realize, eventually I'm going to have lower unemployment, more pay, better health care, better education, all these good things, and nobody's going to rob me when I'm looking for some Cuervo. Okay? Yes, sir.
Every single one has been plus D for the total supply. Is it always going to be like that?
I don't, unless I label it some other way.
I mean, I'm not talking about the actual like letters.
That gain? Yeah, you just got to tell me who's gaining. Gains. Show me the way. O-V-A-G-Y. No one? You lift. You know what I'm talking about. Okay? So my left quad is killing me at the moment. I'm also fasting, so I haven't had my way. Or deadlifts later, we'll get it. We'll get on teaching in the evenings. I got so much pre-workout still going through my veins. You guys would just be ashy, like stains on the back of the wall. I'm so calm. You like Metallica playing at all times. Okay? Does that make sense? Who's more organized though? The consumers or the producers? Producers. Ring ring! Hello, Lindsey Graham. I don't like the fact that I lost B and everybody else is doing. You need to protect the American worker and the American producers. We need a Buy American campaign. Do you know where your shirt's from? Your hat. One of the most nationalist presidents we've ever had. We've already established last week. Where's it from? He doesn't care. Why should you? Ring, ring, Lindsey Graham. See, I taught at the Strom Thurmond Institute, research, I should say, let me clarify, at Clemson University. And it was named after Strom Thurmond, who Lindsey Graham ended up replacing. Somehow Lindsey Graham thinks he's Strom Thurmond. He shows up and sits beside, because we have his old desk in Washington up there. He'd come up there. Anyway, long story short, we don't have a lot of time. I went over to fight during my PhD, get some lift on, maybe a little cardio, peck, And there's Lindsey Graham on the Stairmaster. I can never get it out of my head. Once you see a person on the Stairmaster working it, you vote for that guy. Can't see that itch. Can't unsee it. Okay. Ring, ring, Lindsey Graham. Hey, it's Michelin. We don't like the fact, oh, by the way, we're friends. We don't like the fact that, we're getting undercut by the world price. Can you tax them and make it more expensive? Sure thing. I just need $150,000 towards my re-election campaign. Y'all think I'm being facetious or actually dead serious? Dead serious. I grew up on a farm. I'll pick on farmers. Ring, ring. These prices of soybeans from Brazil are killing us. Okay. For a nice donation from the Farmers Union, we'll cut that out. How do you make things more expensive? You tax it. 7 minutes to do this. Can I erase this now? Yeah. We're good. Ring, ring, Lindsey Graham. He doesn't answer his own phone, by the way. I tried. I did go in grad school. We had like an economic policy class. I did meet Strom Thurmond in his last term. We elected a dead man. That guy had no idea where he was. He walked in there, he looked like my grandpa when he was in the memory care unit. Man, that cat didn't know if he was in DC or the freaking moon.
And that's how he runs his
We electrocuted him to death, and we keep doing the same. Why would these old crusty white people keep running for office? Damn. You can be 35 and be president. You understand that? Kamala understands that. Don't worry, Joe's going to be putting in a sleeping home. President Kamala, it'll be soon enough. Everybody's like, well, you must be a Republican. No, I'm not. Libertarian. I understand. I read books and stuff. It's crazy. It's almost like if you get intelligent, you realize it's not the left versus the right, it's the state versus you. But that's a whole different course. But it's being recorded on the internet, so if I end up shot in the temple, I didn't kill myself. Far too narcissistic for that. Okay. He was the Illuminati, in particular, probably the Rothsteins. Gotcha. Let me see a red dot on my temple. You let me know I'll duck. Snipers. God, I've got so much to learn about the world. You're so innocent. You think like social media is it, or like the girl who won't talk to you. That's the end of the world. National debt's the end of the world. Look at every major empire. Okay, that's what got them. That's what Genghis Khan could take over the Roman. Genghis Khan, a frat boy from the woods of Asia, just took over the Roman Empire. Why? Because they were so broke because of the debt. Anyway. Figure 3. What's a tariff? It's a tax. It behaves like a tax. I might get loud. I get loud when we talk about taxes. Because taxes suck. Again, domestic supply. If I go a couple minutes over, whatever. I'm not even going to draw the price or the quantity this time. Let's say the world price is really down here. Who's not happy? Look at that. Producer surplus, right? The size of Rhode Island. Let's do that's the world price plus a tariff. Got me? So what did I add here? Price world plus tariff, right? Did I make it more expensive to buy foreign-made goods? You're welcome. That'll only be $350,000 for my re-election campaign. If you ever hear that Lindsey Graham's going to speak at the Beacon, go, because I'll be there. I will sit back with a strawberry milkshake, which is definitely not on my diet, and rip him a new work from which to use the bathroom from. He's never met a tariff he didn't like because it leads to deposit into his account. I said that. I hope you're watching, Lindsay. I'm freaking on to you, homie. You do not want me there, bud. Bring it. That's what I look like. I look scared of you? Freaking brains on my side. All right. Let me label this carefully so it'll look just like it will in the test, the homework, in the book. This is a little weird piece that looks kind of like Georgia and Alabama have a kid. That's A. This is going to be B. This is going to be C. Oh, wait. By the way, that would be the quantity supplied 1 if we were just doing the world price, right? And this would be the quantity demanded 1, okay? And this right here, after the tariff, that's my quantity supplied 2, okay? And this right here would be my quantity demanded 2. Everybody's like, well, that's confusing. No, that's demand curve. These are quantities. Those are tied to demand curve. These are supply. That's tied to the supply curve. What happens? Originally, this right here is my exports, right? It gets moved to this, yes? Okay, so we're importing less, correct? Wind will be here, man. It'll be here either way. I've been through 2 tornadoes in this building. I ain't scared. A, B, C. Let's call this little triangle right here D. Let's call this rectangle right here E. Let's call that F. Okay, and let's call this G. Oh, it's a lot more lines. It's always going to be D. Oh, I knew it was coming. Okay. All right. Let's play a game. It's called, what is my consumer surplus, producer surplus? A tariff is a what? Tax? So that's government revenue, is it not? All right, total surplus. I'm probably out of time, but I'm just going to keep teaching. 1 minute. I'm just going to finish this because this is the hardest part in the whole chapter. I'm telling you, you guys could literally get 100 on this exam. I'm yet to make it, but I'm telling you, you could get 100 if you pay attention right now. You have before tariff. All right, you have after tariff. you have what changed? Okay. What was my consumer surplus before the tariff? Now, granted, I didn't say before trade, did I? We're always trading here. This is where it gets a little more complicated. Before the tariff, what was my price? The world price alone. Got me? Got me? If I did, really low world price, you guys are tickled. You don't know where you got your shirts from. You just got it on sale and you like that. Okay? Have mercy, I'm about to wear my hand out. What is my consumer surplus? Everything above price and below the demand curve before the tariff. You said A, B, C, D, E, F. A plus B plus C plus D plus E plus F. You guys are happy, man. Look at that. All right. Who's not happy? You guys are this happy, right? A, B, C, D, E, F. Everything above price and below the demand curve. Who's not happy? Those folks left with this little piece of pizza. Producers, everything below price and above supply curve. What is my producer surplus? G. 6. I don't know why I did that. G. All right. What, before a tariff, there's no tax. How much government revenue do I have? 0. None. Total surplus, consumer surplus plus producer surplus plus government revenue, right? We're trying to say government revenue is going to be used for good, which I know is a joke in itself, but we're gonna make that assumption. Total surplus is A plus B plus C plus D plus E plus F plus G, is it not? Ring, ring, Lindsey Graham. I am not happy with my little piece of the pie here. I want more. To get more of something, you have to take it away from somebody else. So let's start talking about post-tariff. What's my consumer surplus post-tariff?
A plus B.
A plus B. What's my producer surplus post-tariff?
G, C.
All right, everything below price, above supply curve, right? C plus G. What's my government revenue now? You got to remember. What's the size of the tax at the height here, right? The difference between that price and that price, the only thing different here is that's got a tax on it. That height. See that? What's the quantity taxed? This is what's imported. The difference here, that width is the quantity. Okay? So the amount imported times the size of the tax, size of the tariff, equals your government revenue. Wouldn't it geographically just, geometrically, I guess you would say, geographically. Geometrically, where's all my revenue? Right there, right? So when I say government revenue is what? What's my total surplus? A plus B plus C plus G plus E. Because we count government revenue as like something that, you call 911 and they answer. That's a good thing, right? Okay. What changed here for consumers? One phone call to your local congressman who claims they're doing good for you lost what?
C, D, E.
Surely that got producers enough to where they'll hire more people, or did it? Where did it get them? Just G, right?
C.
Oh, I'm sorry, just C. We already had G. Okay. Perfectly self-interested. They'll cut your throat and take this away from you just so they can get this. And Congress is enabling them. And it's not a Republican or a Democrat thing. They all do it. California, they're calling Pelosi. New York, they're calling Schumer. It's the same stupid thing. It's not the left versus the right. It's the state versus you. Government revenue, you're plus E. Overall, are we better or worse off? How much are we worse off? Let's see. We got A, we got B, we got C, we got G, we got E. What did we lose? D plus F. When there's a tax, what is there always? Always. When there's taxes.
Government revenue.
Yeah, but what else? We talked about last time. Kudos to whoever comes up with it. What is this? That's D. That's F.
Dead weight.
Dead weight loss. Every time there's a tax, it has a cost. Because when things are more expensive, you want less of it. You're going to buy less imports. So, you were really happy. They were not. They're organized. They called. They got more. You got a lot less. Taxes, tariffs, are taxes on imports. So tariffs. Sorry for a little bit of overtime, but we had a lot to cover. Appreciate you. This is dead weight loss. I feel like I'm doing the weather. Get a wind blowing in. That was fun. See you guys.